Good afternoon, Dr. Mungali.
Good afternoon, Jeff. So nice to see you again.
It's so nice to see you again. I'm so grateful that you are willing to share your life stories about Maharaji with everyone. I think these are really important. So many of our elders have passed away or are old, and those who have met Maharaji, it's one thing to hear the story, have the experience directly. But there are so many of us now, more than ever actually, who never met Maharaji in his form. So we hear stories, and they're so valuable. So, did you have some stories? Would you share some with us today?
Sure, Bharat. Today, I'd like to begin with a mystical experience of my father with Maharaji.
Mm-hmm.
So it was around 55 or 57. Maharaji happened to be staying at our Haldwani home. And one evening, he asked my father that he wanted to be in the farm. So together they left for farm from the house.
For the farm?
It was evening time in the farm. Yeah, we have a small agricultural farm there.
Uh-huh.
So they went to the farm. So it was evening time, and perhaps it was winters, so the days were short.
Mm-hmm.
And there they reached a under construction house that was being built as Maharaj had asked to make it a hall for the weekly kirtans.
Wonderful.
He called it a kirtan hall.
Uh-huh.
So that kirtan hall was under construction there. It was almost in the center of the farm.
Mm-hmm.
So when they reached there, it was already beginning to get dark. And then Maharaji told my father to call Hariya. Now this fellow Hariya was a newly appointed farmhand working for the farm. And well, Maharaji did not know about that anyway, but it was not unusual for him to call anyone by name.
Without knowing.
Yeah, of course.
Mm-hmm.
So father called Hariya, and Hariya responded, who lived nearby. It was not far from there. And when Hariya came, Maharaji told him to put that ladder against the lintel of that under construction building.
That ladder?
Yeah, the ladder.
Uh-huh.
It was a bamboo ladder. It is generally used for construction purposes in India.
What kind of ladder?
Bamboo.
Bamboo ladder.
Yeah, bamboo ladder.
Uh-huh.
So
ladder. Oh, ladder. I'm sorry.
Ladder, yeah.
Yes. Okay. Yes.
So Hariya placed that ladder
Uh-huh.
against the walls, and Maharaji told him to go. And Hariya went away. Then he asked my father to hold the ladder, and he wanted to go up.
Uh-huh.
Up on the roof.
Yeah.
So my father held the ladder as Maharaj climbed up. And he told, before climbing up, he said, I'm going up, and you stay here, wait for me.
Uh-huh.
So anyway, he climbed up and vanished on the roof. And my father, as he was directed, he sat there in a small veranda, waited for Maharaji. and night was rapidly descending. It was getting dark, and some time had passed. It was already dark, and there was total silence first, and then jackals, those jackals who lived in the farm, they started howling.
Jackals, huh?
Yeah, jackals. Yeah. In those days, the area was not populated as it is these days. But as father waited there, he was becoming impatient and perhaps a bit frightened as well. That why it has been quite some time. And when you are concerned, the time seems to pass by very leisurely.
Yes, yes.
So he was worried, perhaps. So he wanted to see for himself what Maharaj was doing upstairs.
Mm-hmm.
So he himself climbed on the ladder, and as his head came at the level of the roof,
Mm-hmm.
he was completely perplexed by what he saw. There, almost in the middle of the roof, Maharajji was sitting in meditative posture,
Uh-huh.
in far larger than normal size.
Mm-hmm. Very big.
And there was a glow, a light, a whitish bluish light emitting from his body.
Ah.
The blanket was put aside by Maharajji.
Uh-huh.
His torso was naked, as father could see. And Maharajji was wrapped in a halo of that bluish, yellow, whitish light.
He was
He
wrapped.
was dazed by what he saw, and he stumbled. As he stumbled, the ladder struck against the concrete.
Uh-huh.
There was a clack.
Uh-huh.
And instantly Maharajji responded, "Who's there?" Utterly confused, my father just dug down and quickly got down on the ground. As he touched ground, he heard Maharaj's voice from the roof, "Bhuvan, hold the ladder. I'm coming down." So again, he held the ladder while Maharajji descended. So when he descended, he placed his hand on his shoulder and said, "You got frightened. There is nothing to be frightened of. Come on, let's go home." And they walked home. So he was fortunate to have witnessed, well, it may be called something supernatural, some advanced yogic power display, whatever you may call it. But anyway, after some time, he did ask Maharajji about that. I'll tell you if you...
Oh, please do, yes.
Sometime after this incident, one day, my father asked Maharajji about that light that was emitting from his body. Maharajji smiled and said, "Well, everybody has it. Everybody has it. It is only obscured by Maya, that is illusion."
Yes. Yes. Do you, I'm thinking how much the effect of being around these beings, I was never in Maharajji's presence directly, but, knowing through Ram Dass and experiencing it in my history with Ram Dass, these what happens, these beings, our mind is dazed, right? We are confused, and that's sort of how the transmission occurs, is gets around our mind, you could say, perhaps. Would you agree with that?
Yes, I do. I do. I do. Because almost all those who were in those times nearby him, many of them had that kind of experience that there is something while you are with him, a kind of pull that you feel attracted and attached to him.
Mm-hmm.
Because, he will tell people, just go away, jao, jao.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody would ever leave him.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a common experience. Perhaps, Jeff, I think that is the pull of pure love, love for all, without any discrimination.
Yeah.
It is not mind. Perhaps it is heart that is involved in such emotional experience.
Yes, yeah.
And perhaps mind cannot really describe and define it.
Mm-hmm.
After all, it is matter of heart.
Absolutely, yes. Yeah, I understand the bypass of the mind is our grace, that it happens to us, right? Maharaji dazed your father. Your father was dazed. It, he knew something powerful was happening, but he was confused and thrown off center. So his ladder clacked on the wall. But it's just being around, having the darshan of these beings is I find it confusing and often dazed, that something happened that I can't figure out. And like you said, it's a transmission of the heart.
Yes, certainly. And especially all those people who have had the fortune of experiencing such occurrences in presence of Maharaj Ji are something that they will treasure all through their life. Many of them have gone now, but the stories are there for the posterities, for all those who are still connected with Maharaj Ji. They may not have seen Maharaj Ji, but just knowing how it used to be at that time, what he really was.